Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. That time I got Isakied as a slime. DanmachixTTIGRS by awalker0641. Chapter 15. Teacher of the hero. A few days have passed since I started to train Bell. I have to admit he is a rather skilled student. While it takes him a while to pick up on things, he is rather an excellent learner. But considering his occupation, well, he has to be. The possibility of him becoming stomach filler is a high possibility. Thwack. But all things considered, he is steadily improving. His stance has improved and he is keeping his weapon closer to his body. I'm glad he took up my recommendation to get another knife, considering he only had one to defend and attack with. He should probably get a spare, but he can do that when he wants. Thwack thwack. But still he does have a bad habit of not paying attention to his surroundings. But it takes time for him to develop these skills. Yet at the pace he is going, he should be around the 3rd floor, possibly 4th, by the middle of next week. However, he falls into a bad habit of striking out and overextending himself. But that's one of the few things we are working on right now. Thwack thwack thwack. Thump. With my final strike I stand above Bell with my bakken aimed at his throat. And you're dead. Bell, you have to control yourself when attacking. If you keep overextending yourself, you'll be surrounded and you will die. I sheathes my weapon and help Bell from the floor. As Bell stands, he bows. I am sorry, master. I will do better. Sigh. Look, I'm not trying to be too hard on you, but beginners have to be careful when going into the dungeon when they don't have a party. Without backup, it can spell trouble. I understand. Thank you for the lesson today. He stands up and dusts himself off. Then we go through our after-training routine. What is that, one may ask? Well, I give him a towel from a stack I have and then force a low potion onto him. He tries to refuse, but I just shove it into his hand and tell him to drink it, which he does. He sheathes his weapon, puts on his jacket and backpack. He then turns around, stops for a moment as he wants to ask something but bows and says goodbye. I wish him good luck and wave to him as he leaves. I absorb the cloth and then throw the clean towel on the pile and walk up to the doorway. I turn off the magic stone lamps on my way out and close and lock the door. Outside the door I could only ponder on how odd our routine is. I take a few steps away from the building and look over it and smile. I have to admit it really did turn out well. It took a little longer than I anticipated because the structure was in bad shape. I had to go to a smith's and buy some iron to reinforce it. But I still got it built before Bell got here. Although it does need some detailing, but that's beside the point. After looking over it once more, I turned about and walked off to the guild. My plan for today is not only to find out who are in the top familias and their levels, but to learn more about the dungeon. Since I only have been in the place once and everything above the 37th floor possessed no threat to me, I am unable to learn of their weaknesses. Which is a detriment to Bell, since I am not able to teach him how to easily beat a monster. Besides, to hit it with your sword once and it's dead. Even with Raphael analyzing the monsters that we slaughtered, there could be others that we did not encounter. As his teacher, it is my duty to help him grow. Not only in strength but also strategy. From what the old god was saying was that the dungeon has been contained and fought against for around 1,000 years. That means there is bound to be information on monsters and their weaknesses. There also could be useful information about the dungeon itself. On the way up I accidentally cut the wall only for it to heal. And it appeared that upon further analysis by the wise king that the dungeon was alive. So there is a possibility that there is more than meets the eye. From organic traps to complete floors that are filled with poison. So many possibilities that could be implemented in the labyrinth. I am aware that the dungeon takes lives of people, but there are still ideas that can be gleaned from it that I could implement at home. I could even make it worse due to the fact that participants of the labyrinth can't actually die with the revival bracelet. As they say, where there is opportunity there is money to be made. I'm starting to get excited at what I might find. Giddiness aside from possible profits, there is little that I am aware of. While Bell was unconscious due to a certain skill's excess in testing his ability, I was able to find out how a status looks. With Raphael's translation of the status I was able to ascertain that there are 5 components that attributed to a level. Strength, defense, utility, agility, and magic. It appeared as though there is a way to strengthen these attributes due to the fact that there were letters and numbers by them. With my pupil, the attributes were all I and were in the single digits. I have not learned how they can increase any of these abilities. Raphael proposed that through fighting people are able to increase these attributes. While I concur with its assessment, that arises more questions. Such as, is it only through fighting monsters they increase? Can they gain strength by training, or even menial chores? Is there something that decides they can strengthen themselves? I know that to people of this world it is most likely common knowledge. So that is why I must learn it if I am to teach Belle. I am lucky that Loki actually found out about who I really am. That means that I can ask her how statuses actually work over drinks. I'll have to send her a letter to see when she wants to go. Finally arriving at the guild, I open the door and look around. At the counter I see Aina. She is standing there looking over some paperwork. I walk up to her. Hello Aina. She looks up to see me. She puts on a business-like smile which I return. Hello Rimuru. How may I help you today? I rub my chin in thought. There was an issue that presented itself to me. How are familias ranked? I guess I better be vague. I was hoping to learn about the high-ranked familias and their members if at all possible. Okay. Would you only want to learn about AS or a rank familia? Okay, making progress. I rub the back of my head. Sorry, guess that was a little vague. What I want to know about is all the S and A rank familias and their members. She gives me an incredulous look. All of them? Yep. Is that an issue? I tilt my head as I look at her. There shouldn't be that many. She just stands there for a moment before sighing. Alright, I'll get them. However, I am only able to give you what is publicly available. If that's alright. Well, it's a start. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, can you go wait in the room over there? Actually, I was also hoping to be able to read up on the first 6 floors along with their respective monsters, flora, and other possible dangers. She stares at me for a moment before she is able to respond. Why do you want all of those books? I don't want to collect all of them only for you not to use them. Well, you see, I'm training an adventurer who just started recently and he is making rather good progress if I do say so myself. So I just want to brush up on some details to help him. More like learn about the dungeon and also to get some ideas for the labyrinth. She rubbed her temple. Then stopped and had a smile that looked a little devious. Alright, if you will help me get those books then you can read them. Alright, I'll help. I smile at her and follow her. We enter a library filled to the brim with books. She starts to pull them out and hand them to me. I keep following her and she keeps stacking. By the time we are done I have about 30 books in hand while she has 5. She seemed amazed at how easily I can carry them. As we walk out I notice a door that has a heavy-duty lock on it that screams keep out. Hey Aina, I nod to the door, what's in there? Oh well. That's where we keep things that are not to be viewed by anyone other than the top leaders of the guild. I just hummed in response. Seems we are going to have to pay a visit behind there. I follow her to the room and set the stack of books by the table. Thanks Aina for helping me do this. No problem. Just tell me when you are done, okay? I throw her a thumbs up and a smile before she closes the door. I swore I saw a hint of mischievousness in her eye, but it could be my imagination. Oh well. Then I hit the books. I had a question and a concern. What type of monsters are even on the top floors, and maybe I should have went down to the 10th floor for researching? Hours flew by as we read through these books. It was rather amazing at the variety of monsters, their attacks, weaknesses, and possible drop items. I'm actually glad that I did decided to sit down and read these because the only monster I was aware of was of the goblin that Belle killed. Turns out the reason why was because monsters don't spawn when a high-leveled adventurer traverses those floors. And with my aura leaking out and a mini-tour on the loose there would be nothing spawning there. As for the familia side of things I learned that the strongest adventure here is a level 7. Which also turns out to be Otter, and the cat person I cocooned was a level 6. And turns out that there are not children that are running around here but it is a race called Palums. I thought they may not have had any child labor laws with that. But maybe they don't, considering this is a medieval fantasy world that had a 7-year-old child running around in the dungeon. I'll have to talk to Loki about that. Although considering humans in our world force summon kids to become weapons, I guess I don't have much room to talk. But otherwise there was a lack of info I could use to learn about their skill system, which is a bummer. But nonetheless I learned who are considered the strongest here on this world, besides me and Hinata. By the time I finished my inquiry, the sun was starting to set. I went to Aina. Hey Aina, I'm finished. Oh good, can you take a few tests that I made recently over the floors you went over? I went slack for a moment. Huh? Was planning to be done though. Oh don't worry, it won't take long. Can you do this as a favor to your advisor? Also, can you help me put the books away too? I wanted to say no, but sadly I have a weakness when it comes to beautiful women. Especially elves. Sure I can. Oh thanks. After putting the books away I sat down to take her test. I thought it was only going to be a page or two, but it turns out it's 20 pages long. Why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. As I was about to protest, she hit a stopwatch. Begin. Too late. I looked at the first question. Question 1. What is the most common monster on the first 5 floors? Easy. Goblin. Question 2. What drop item does a kobold drop? Okay, it's a claw. Question 3. The evening shroud can flap its wings at 26 beats per minute. It can fly over 30 feet in that minute. With a coconut in its claws, how far can it fly in 20 seconds? What the hell kind of question is this? What even is an evening shroud? And how much does a coconut even weigh? I look up to see Aina sweetly smiling with her hands together sitting on the table. I look back down baffled at this test. Okay, when in doubt go to the next question. Question 4. Using the answer above, find out how far a glory wing is able to run with a coconut in its mouth. What the hell is with this test? Why is it called a glory wing if it only runs? I feel like ripping my hair out. Less than notice. Master, the answer to the 3 is 2.36 feet while the answer to 4 is 25.96 feet per minute. Greater than. Oh man, thanks for the assist. The rest of the night continued with Raphael answering questions that Rimuru could not. By the time he was done it was dark outside. Alright. Here you go Aina, it's all done. Wow, you still have 20 minutes left on the clock. Well, thanks for your help anyways. If you are able to come back tomorrow I'll give you the results. Alright, I'll be by. Oh yeah, can you send a letter to the goddess Loki for me? She raises an eyebrow but nods. I can get someone to deliver it for you. Sweet thanks. After writing the letter I wave goodbye and leave that woman's accursed test behind. An advisor's issue. I was hoping he would do bad on the test so I could force him into one of my lectures, but that won't be happening anytime soon apparently. When Rimuru asked to see all of those books she could only despair at the sheer amount of paperwork she had to do just to be able to check them out. Sure, it may seem like there would not be much work besides writing on a slip of paper what books were taken. But no, there had to be the title, author, whose familia was being checked out, who was checking said record out, and what dungeon books got checked out following the same process. And she had to fill out 35 of those papers all because Rimuru wanted to look at them, while she was glad that he wanted to look at some material because he took on a beginner. But that did not mean he had to look through 10 books. So she figured she would get a little revenge by making him take the hardest test she has ever created, have him fail, and put into one of her lessons to drill him with information for revenge, and less paperwork. However, her plan was foiled. Because he got all of them right. Even the, how long would it take to shave a kobold while being attacked by 3 goblins armed with coconuts? I would have let there be a 20-second leeway, yet he answered with the perfect time. She was unsure how he even was able to come up with these answers within the allotted time, no math, and most of the questions in some way pertained coconuts. She had no idea why she had a fascination with coconuts today, but she did. Oh well. I guess I'll have to try sparrows and coconuts.